Pre-production. In this video, we are going to see about pre-production. The early stage in making a film preceding the actual shooting that includes casting, contracting performers and productional personnel, writing the script, designing and building sets, scheduling the shooting, budgeting the entire enterprise. Location scouting. In this video, we are going to see about location scouting. An individual, frequent part of the location development, who goes in search of suitable places, either indoors or outdoors, for a film production's on-location shooting. Location, that is indoor and outdoor. Any place other than a studio where a film is in part or completely shot. Such a place is an actual location and not a constructed set within a studio or in its lot. Sections might be added to already existing buildings, entire structures constructed, or parts of the natural terrain changed, but the film would still be considered as shot on location. The first silent films were shot indoors because lighting was dependent on the sun, but with the development of artificial illumination and better film stock, motion pictures could be shot inside studios where weather was no longer a factor and where more control could be had over lighting. The advent of sound, at first recorded synchronically with the filming of a picture, made location shooting even more difficult. Although films might incorporate shots of actual places for setting a location or advancing the narrative, the need for outdoor settings as well as the obligatory use of horses, especially in chase scenes, also necessitated that parts of westerns be shot on location. The following factors eventually led to an increased number of films being shot on location from the late 1950s. The high cost of maintaining studios and making studio production, better film stocks, especially the new tripack color film made by Eastman Kodak, lighter, more portable cameras and lighting equipments, more sophisticated sound recording techniques that could combine on-location recordings and dubbed soundtracks, and the success of a number of significant on-location films made in Europe. Formalities to be observed. In this video, we are going to see about formalities to be observed. Location agreement. A contractual agreement between a production company and owner of a piece of property that the company may use the property in the film. Such agreements normally spell out the terms of use and payment, as well as stipulating that the property be left in its original condition. Location breakdown. An itemized list of all the requirements for on-location shooting, including personnel, equipment, facilities and transportation, as well as detailed account of the scenes to be shot. Location department. The group of people in film production responsible for finding suitable locations for shooting, arranging for the use of the location, and managing the transportation of equipment and personnel to these locations. Location manager. The individual who sometimes acts as a location scout, finding particular settings for a film, but also contracts for their use and arranges the details of occupancy. Location picture, location film. A motion picture primarily made on location as opposed to one made in a film studio. Location pictures tend to seem less claustrophobic and confined, their ambience seems more authentic and less staged. While studio pictures emphasize the interaction of characters, films made on location focus attention on the interaction of characters and environment. Fiction. In this video, we are going to see about fiction. A film with imaginary characters and events. The term generally applies to most feature and commercial films. Many fiction films use actual places. Some may incorporate into the story real people and events, though their rendition is largely fictional. Some fiction films attempt to create an aura of truth and verisimilitude by employing a documentary film style, but this does not alter the fictional nature of the work. Purists would argue that even documentaries are fictional, since the very act of selecting what to film, the unnatural situation of the filming itself, and the editing of the work create a world that exists only on the screen and one that no longer resembles the reality it supposedly presents. Nevertheless, one should judge the intentions of the work and see that fictional films made primarily to entertain are very different from documentaries that employ subject matter and techniques basically to increase the viewer's understanding of some factual aspect of the world outside the theater. Example for the fiction movie, Avatar in 2009. Nonfiction. In this video, we are going to see about nonfiction. Any film that presents actual rather than fictional situations and people. Richard Barson in nonfiction film includes in this category documentary itself, factual films, travel films, educational training or classroom films, newsreels, and animated or cartoon films. He distinguishes the documentary from the factual film because of its socio-political purpose, but includes both in the general category of non-fiction films. Example for the non-fiction film, Smile Pinky. Animated images. In this video, we are going to see about animated images. The process of photographing drawings, puppets, silhouettes, or inanimate objects frame by frame through stop-motion photography, with each frame recording a minute progressive change in the subject. When the frames are projected onto the screen, one after the other, at the standard speed of 24 frames per second, the subject seems to move or be animated. In the case of television, the speed is 25 frames per second. For 10 minutes of animation, 14,400 individual drawings or setups are theoretically necessary. The speed of action is dependent on the amount of change from frame to frame. Sometimes slower movements are achieved by repeating the same drawing or setup for 2 or 3 frames. Animation is used in a variety of films in educational works, abstract experimental films, cartoons, horror or fantasy films where the animation of dolls is integrated with the action of live characters, and sometimes in musical comedies where cartoon figures and live characters perform together. Animation is also used in film credits and is especially popular for television commercials. The image of the animated movie, Finding Nemo. Preparation of sequence from storyboard to final script. In this video, we are going to see about preparation of sequence from storyboard to final script. Since we have already discussed this topic in the previous unit, number 6, the screenplay. Here is an example of how a screenplay looks from idea to scene breakup to storyboard to final script. From my script titled No Vacancy, which is a short film scripted and directed by R.D. Balaji. The title of the short film is also called as No Vacancy. Step-by-step process of writing the screenplay. Idea. Source of the idea. Theme. Synopsis. 3-part outline. Opening, middle, end. 1-line treatment. Scene breakup. Scene number. Interior or exterior. Day or night. Location. Characters. Short breakdown. In this video, we are going to see about short breakdown. Here, I present the complete short breakdown of my script No Vacancy from scene number 1 to scene number 9 along with the storyboard, so that it will give you a clear-cut picture of how a script undergoes various process from idea to shooting script before being cranked in camera. Short breakdown with storyboard of No Vacancy. Scene number 1. Characters involved in scene 1 are Rajeshwaran, Pandyadurai. The Chennai Central Railway Station. The sun slowly rises in the east. A narrow street in Chennai. The conservancy workers of the Chennai Corporation are sweeping the street. Rajeshwaran and Pandyadurai are sleeping in the room. The sun's rays spread in the room through the slowly moving curtains. Rajeshwaran rouses himself from his languor and looks at Pandyadurai. Rajeshwaran gets up from the bed and walks to the window. In the distance is heard the sound of Magari bhajans. The sound of the paperwala's cycle bell, as well as the sound of his voice crying paper and the sound of the falling paper, the sound of the milkman's voice crying milk. Rajeshwaran goes to take bath with paste, brush, soap and towel. After the bath, Rajeshwaran returns to the room with towel round his waist. Rajeshwaran put on his clothes. He takes his certificate from the box and carefully places them in a file. Rajeshwaran sits upon a chair and looks at the red markings in the classified section of the Hindu newspaper. On a sheet of paper, he writes down the addresses of prospective employers. Rajeshwaran opens the trunk box. Rajeshwaran opens the box and sits before the picture of his mother. Closes his eyes for a few seconds and prays. Rajeshwaran takes all the files, walks to the door and turns his head. Pandyadurai continues to sleep in his weariness. Rajeshwaran said, "Pandi, lock the door, I'm going to an interview." Scene number 2. Characters involved in scene 2 are Rajeshwaran, Murugesan. Rajeshwaran goes to his usual roadside food outlet. Murugesan asking to Rajeshwaran, "What, brother, off to an interview? Will you get it this time?" Rajeshwaran replied that, "I have been persistently trying to get it. I hope somehow I will succeed today. Let us see." Murugesan hesitantly asking, "Brother, last month's dues?" Rajeshwaran replied, "Brother, I made to receive money from my mother. As soon as I get it, I'll settle the dues." Murugesan said, all right, brother, there is no hurry. First, at least today, you should get a good job." Rajeshwaran said, "Thanks, brother." Scene number 3. Characters involved in scene 3 are Rajeshwaran. Office of the magazine Tamil Aruvi. Rajeshwaran and 3 others are waiting at the reception. The peon comes out of the manager's room. He calls the candidate seated next to Rajeshwaran. The candidate gets up and goes to the manager's room. Rajeshwaran happens to notice the file in that person's hand. Slow zoom into the file. A recommendation letter with a stamp of ruling party is striking out of the file. Slow zoom into Rajeshwaran. His face shows signs of fear mixed with anxiety. The candidate who went in comes out with a victorious smile. Rajeshwaran's name is called. He gets up and goes inside. Rajeshwaran comes out with his face bearing the marks of sorrow. Scene number 4. Characters involved in scene 4 are Rajeshwaran, public, peon. Rajeshwaran is seeking directions from a passerby who shows the way. He locates the right address and climbs the steps. He shows the interview card to the peon. The peon asks him to be seated. Those who have come for the interview are seen going in and coming out. The peon calls out Rajeshwaran's name. Rajeshwaran goes inside. As usual, Rajeshwaran comes out dispirited. His glance casually falls on one of the candidates. Putting 2 and 2 together, he steps out with a mock smile. Scene number 5. Characters involved in scene 5 are Rajeshwaran, Pandyadurai. A weary Rajeshwaran packs his belongings. Only then he noticed Pandyadurai looking at him. Pandyadurai asked what happened. Rajeshwaran said, "Everything is finished. I cannot continue to stay here further. Pandi, I am returning to my village." Pandyadurai asked, "There, in the village, what will you do?" Camera should start zooming in slowly. Rajeshwaran replied, "Don't know." Pandyadurai said, "The moment you mentioned mother, I remembered. There is a letter from her to you. I have placed it on the table." Rajeshwaran picked up the letter, opens it, and starts reading. Camera should start zoom in. Voice of his mother as he reads the letter. Rajeshwaran's mother, "My loving son, how are you? Are you well? Do you eat on time regularly? Take care of your health. My son, did you get a job? Try to get a job soon. Here, I'm terribly short of funds. The money lender wants me to return the loan with interest within a month. Either pay or leave the village, he says. Raja, I live only for you. You should get a job. You should come up in life, and I should see your growth. For that reason, I'm clinging on to my life. Of late, I fall sick often. The cold is too much for me to bear. Mother has become old, isn't it? That's why. You take care of your health. If you lack money, don't be without eating. Do not hesitate to ask. I'll try hard to send it to you. Yours lovingly, your mother." With tears in his eyes, he reads through the letter. He wipes his tears away, folds the letter, and puts it into his pocket. He then looks at Pandyadurai. Pandi places his hand on Rajeshwaran's shoulder to comfort him. Pandyadurai said, "Raja, don't worry. Soon you will get a job. Wait and see." "Okay, now don't mistake me. Instead of falling at other people's feet, why should you start a business of your own? You have a BFA. The government offers much scope." Rajeshwaran asked, "Okay, but to take a loan, they will ask for surety. Where can I go for it? Who will trust me and sign for me? There are a lot of formalities." Pandyadurai said, "Yes, but you have taken no effort. But you keep saying they will ask for surety. Who will sign and so on. That is not your problem. Your problem is lack of confidence." Rajeshwaran replied, "What you say does not seem right to me." He goes silently into thinking mode. Pandyadurai takes a piece of paper from his pocket as he places a hand on Rajeshwaran's shoulder. Pandyadurai said, "Well, as you wish. I forgot to tell you this. Take this address. I got this through my friend. There is a vacancy for a layout artist in an offset printing press. Give it a try. I believe that this time you will surely succeed." Wiping his tears from his eyes and with a smile. Scene number 6. Characters involved in scene 6 are Rajeshwaran. Rajeshwaran climbing the steps to the Nagraphics offset printer's office. The office reception. He shows the card to the receptionist. She asks him to be seated. He takes a seat and then looks at the notice board. There is a no vacancy sign. A vexed Rajeshwaran comes out of the office. Rajeshwaran is walking along a busy road. He looks completely lost. Use telephoto lens to blur the background. 360 degrees circular trolley telephoto lens. Sound of horns. A voice is heard. "Hey, you fool, let out of the way." normal lens, Rajeshwaran seems to recover, but there are lines of sadness on his face. Crane shot, top angle, frame entry from left, Rajeshwaran treads a weary way. As Rajeshwaran walks along, crane top angle to low level, he is shown disappearing into the horizon. Scene number 7. Characters involved in scene 7 are Rajeshwaran, a poor man. A depressed Rajeshwaran sees a crowd looking at something. People are looking at something, but Rajeshwaran is not able to figure out what it is. Top angle, a poorly clad man is drawing a beautiful picture. To get a better view, Rajeshwaran goes around to the other side. Only then he notices that the person has only one hand. As a nail driven down his head, he stands dumbfounded. He is perplexed by many thoughts. Automatically, his hand goes into his pant pocket. He tosses a few coins upon the drawing. The coin falls upon the drawing and scatter. As Rajeshwaran comes out of the crowd, he steps on something. It is a used piece of charcoal. Rajeshwaran bends to pick it up. With a piece of charcoal in hand, Rajeshwaran goes the way his feet take him. He sees a dilapidated wall. He moves towards it. With something on his mind, Rajeshwaran hurries towards the wall. The camera zooms out, showing Rajeshwaran's hand and the letters. Zoom out continues. Rajeshwaran's graffiti, "No vacancy," fills the wall. He doesn't know for how long he wrote. He wrote on till it soothed his body and mind. Scene number 8. Characters involved in scene 8 are Rajeshwaran, Murugesan. Rajeshwaran, frame left entry. He is walking towards the Murugesan idli shop. Rajeshwaran said, "Brother, give me 2 idlis." Murugesan asked, "Come brother, how about the job?" Rajeshwaran said, "Just as usual." Murugesan said, "No idlis. Shall I serve vada?" Rajeshwaran replied, "Yes, chutney too." Rajeshwaran sits on a plastic stool. He then notices that the radio in the shop is not on. Rajeshwaran said, "Brother, please switch on the radio." Murugesan switches the radio on. One song played from the radio. That song lyrics matches his current position. Slow zoom in. As Rajeshwaran eats, he recalls his experiences of the past 4 months. Flashback. He is climbing upstairs and downstairs in different offices. Flashback. Swish pan left to right. No vacancy appears on screen. Radio muffled. Scene number 9. Characters involved in scene 9 are Rajeshwaran. Fade in. Caption. A year later. No vacancy board. The camera zooms out. Camera zooms out slowly. Voices low are heard. Many boards like no vacancy are on display. Camera zooms out slowly. Customers are walking in and out. Rajeshwaran's voice is heard low. The camera further zooms out slowly. This time the name of the shop, Raj Graphics, appears on the screen. Sound montage of Rajeshwaran's voice, customer's voice, and sound of vehicles. In a final zoom out, the camera slows the Raj Graphics shop, the complex where the shop is located, and the street, etc. Scene 1 to 5 should be taken as one shot. Fade out. Titles.